cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
So I was very quickly in the mall, and you know, I'm always observing everything. Yeah, watching products, I see people, interactions, and I think one thing is also very funny to me when you see it from a third-person view. You know, those people, they're not thinking like this, they don't realize it. But I'm looking at a booth, a sales booth of, so you can buy those electric cigarettes. You put a filter in it and you suck on it. You know, the whole setup is very nice. And you know, when I see people and they're a little bit stressed out of their mind, you know, they're gathering a little bit money, you know, to purchase this product that actually shortens your life, but maybe a little bit longer, because yeah, maybe they step from cigarettes to this thing. And with all the people that I talked with so far about this specific brand, you know, they all say it stinks like horse shit. But and it does, it smells like horse shit. But the thing is, you know, it's like, you know, they make it very, I think they make the people feel good about the product or something. I had also a few exes, they also really liked it. It stinks like hell, but I think it's more or less, you know, they make it look luxurious. They give you a little bit, you know, a free bottle of water, and not only this, they give you a little bit guidance about how to suck on it, and I don't know what. But I think, you know, when you look from the third person, you know, the people who actually also selling it, yeah, they suck on it pretty much every single hour of the day. But you know what I'm always thinking, where is the value, the real value for the person? Yes, they go from smoking to semi-smoking, stink like horse shit, but okay, that is part of the marketing trick, I think. Because yeah, you know, I'm always observing, and this is something that makes, I think, people always very vulnerable. And it is the same, and now I'm gonna switch a little bit back and forward, but this is for people who like to think about stuff. If you look a dog in the eyes and it takes a little doo-doo, you know, you can see the vulnerability. And if you never saw it, just look at his eyes or her eyes when it takes a little doo-doo, and then you can see, you know, because I watched the people over there, and not like that I'm walking around those selling places like a creep, but the thing is, I saw it and I see the vulnerability. They gathered some money, and yes, let's make the purchase. Maybe they did a little bit quick research using the free version of ChatGPT. I'm using Gemini, but anyway, besides that, then I look in their eyes, they're making some kind of purchase and they get informed, and then I think, yeah, hey, what is the real benefit? It stinks. Instead of, see, I also had periods in my life that I smoked, right? So I know a little bit how it is to stop smoking. It was for me, I did 8 months, and then I actually decided now it's done. But the thing is, I still would think about it, but I don't put it in my body anymore. But the thing is, if you put in the work, the real work, yeah, then you have to stop. But I know also from people who actually died from lung cancer, the part of the lungs were already cut out and they still light up a cigarette. So I know, you know, people who smoke, yeah, more than 10 or 20 years, and then they switch to the things that stings like horse shit. But if you start observing yourself, you know, you are a person. You know, if you really say it up loud, you know, that's what I'm always saying about bad habits. So what is the takeaway from this little tiny video? It's simply just observe yourself and say up loud what you're doing. So I am going to purchase a thing that stinks like horse shit, and the opinions are from the street, not from what I read on the internet. I speak with you know, when people suck on specific kind of things. I also sucked for 30 days on those vapes. Those were real vapes with tasties, and it tastes actually so incredibly good. You know, I'm not over here to advertise anything, but the thing is, it tastes so good that I also had, again, 2 weeks totally mind fucked by it. The same with cigarettes. How I solve it is simply increasing the runs, because then you burn out so much your lungs. It's very painful. But I loved it, and done deal. So I never look down on anybody's behavior. Been there, done that. but I did it more in moderation, and also that I can talk about it. I can talk about how to stop smoking. Of course, again, you know, when you smoke more than 10 years, I can imagine the struggle, but that had the more the struggle, maybe the more you have to divide it over a longer amount of period. But I also had one fallback day that I smoked bam 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 package of cigarettes, and then so much pain and ow ow ow, you know, and then simply don't do it anymore because it's, you know, the little child that touches the heater and he burned the finger, and you try it one more time, yeah, are you for sure that it's actually painful? You know, the same with a lot of things in life. Maybe this time it will end up pretty good, but in general it doesn't. But you know, when it's about smoking, I do understand, and you know, and then I see the vulnerability in their eyes. And this is the thing about humans. I genuinely really, I'm interested in people, always. When I see people, I'm always in awe, you know, especially when I also see people, you know, with their parents, you know, and I always look for similarities. I never had those things for obvious reasons, because hey, I'm adopted, so I don't have those things. So that is also one of the reasons, and my real intention is to actually observe people is simply, first of all, I'm very interested. I'm always also, I know that I'm a little bit older today, I'm 47. The thing is, now I know how to put it a little bit on boundaries, that I'm not gonna talk to those people, you know, what's going on in your head. Before I did, and yeah, okay, actually more than 90% of the people are willing to talk about why they're doing things. They never actually, well, maybe it's also because I come with a very open mind. I'm not, you know, I'm not like come over like an authority person. I'm just genuinely interested in, you know, why, the how. And based upon that, years, actually decades of speaking with people, not so conscious as I'm doing now. The past 5 years, I'm really conscious about how I act, how I do my body language, how I adapt to different levels of society, people, you know. But before, you know, like I always say, and yeah, it sounds repetitive, but when I start, you know, knocking on the door for the first time, you know, to clean bicycles, selling my bicycle cleaning service, and the thing is, you know, you start interacting with people, and of course I wasn't so conscious about it, but now I can say the last decade, I'm very conscious about interacting, chatting, calling, adding pictures, videos to it, you know, all those extra elements that can bring and create an emotion. I'm always looking for that little element that people walk away, also when people meet me offline, you know, that they have this little feeling, okay, a little bit with a giggle, but also have some value, makes them reconsider, but also maybe a little bit more aware of what they're doing, and not only be aware, also maybe put in a little bit more work into it, because they can see, and I'm not bragging over here, that I'm a little bit operating on a different level of energy, but also, you know, that how I speak. I try to always pull out the best out of people by speaking, because in general people can come up with the biggest BS, but you know, I'm doing this for such a long time. When I see somebody, how they move, how they speak, I know pretty much what their real intentions are, but not only what their intentions are, but also what the habits are, you know, or when they have some sort of healthy habits, then I know pretty much the level of it, because you can read a lot from the whole package together. That means tonality, body language, energy level, especially when they speak about, you know, that they going all in. I had once a guy, I was with a guy in a hostel in Malta and the guy, he says, yeah, I'm very competitive. No, I said, first of all, I'm not competing with you, but we can train together. He said, yeah, but I'm warning you, I'm very competitive. I said, yeah, you said this. And now, yeah, of course, first of all, he was 50 minutes too late. Not competitive. That you understand, right? So words don't tell me a lot. And I trained with another guy. He was actually from a football team. Not gonna say which country, I'm not gonna say which football team, but he actually wanted to do a run with me. And the thing is, see, I'm not the best in running or anything, but I'm willing to die on the spot, because yeah, like I always say, you know, nobody's waiting for me on the other side of the line and says, oh, he's dead, okay, nice. The thing is, And that sounds very black and white, but it is not. But I live by those rules. I'm doing everything all the way or not. So this guy wanted to run with me. He said he also said, you know, I'm going all in. Well, after the first 10 kilometers, he already looked at me and he thought, yeah, are we done? I said, no, we're just warming up. Not bragging over here, but I'm just trying to make people aware of what the wordings that they use, but also try to put a little bit more attention how other people actually present themselves. You know, when you actually start bragging about anything, I think bragging is always some sort of behavior you should not make part of your character. Just speak how it is, and that's it. I think in the end, maybe in the beginning, and also maybe, yeah, if you even if you would hang around with people that only would accept you when you brag a lot. You know, I know those groups of people. Hey, you need to wear the latest brands, and you know, a lease car that's never paid off. And the thing is, you know, you need to brag. But if you hang around with real people and you want to hang around with people from different levels of society and have actually in-depth relationships, not the one, oh, I know him, and you only saw him once in the grocery store. No. When I say that I know somebody, I sat with them together on one single table in their kitchen. That is the level of knowing. And the majority of the people, I can even spend the nights or a couple of weeks. Most of the time I do spend, you know, because I can go wherever I want. So anyway, I started with these people who looked very vulnerable, purchasing some kind of device, you know, that is maybe a little bit healthier, but of course there is not any kind of research that would prove it. I think, and this is my opinion, and I'm not enticing anybody to start smoking, but you know, if you smoke, then look for cigarettes that are a little bit more expensive, a little bit more pure tobacco, and I think the damage is way less. And again, I'm not giving advice, but for example, I did smoke, and I smoked in the past. I had a period, Marlboro, the real ones. When you open the package, you can smell it. Smells nice. And then the last period, I smoked Sobrania Cervero Slim. Yeah, that is actually black or no, dark red Slim. But you know, the tobacco is a little bit higher quality than the average cigarettes. And yeah, I still did my rounds. So yeah, little piece of advice: when you start actually smoking, I can invest a little bit more in your yeah, the process of dying early, but do it then a little bit with quality. I'm not promoting, again, not promoting anything regarding smoking, but I think if you do or want to get into detrimental habits, then put a little bit effort in it. I could go way much deeper into other kind of habits that I also had in abundance, but we're not getting into this because I don't want to make this a promotional talk to get into it, because the ones that are actually, if you're watching this and you had specific habits, negative ones, then you probably I'm gonna make you like yummy, but that's not the thing. Let's make a conclusion of this vlog. If you get into bad habits and you have the feeling, your gut feeling says, yeah, is it actually the best decision to make? Just say it up loud. And then see it from a third person. That's also how do I get actually to this kind of approach to my own habits? It's simply because I had at least a couple of months in a row, but then, you know, I used to handle hallucination things before everybody dove into it, and microdosing, all that bullshit. I also have my opinion about that, but it is a long time ago. It was also at least 15 years before that people start talking about microdosing that and all that. Don't even think about the microdose thing, just do it all the way or not. But like this, I learned to observe myself from a third person. In case you wonder how you come up with that kind of BS now again, that's the reason. Anyway, and then you just say it up loud. You say, in this case, because I started with the smoking device, and when I think of it, I looked at this there was one woman and a man, you could see they could better invest in a new jacket or something, but you know, they're going for, and those devices are not cheap. Huh? They could buy good cigarettes, and I think in the end they're gonna put it on the side. And this is also why, and if you know about, so if you know about the process of those products, they get produced somewhere in massive amount in China, huh? Because I also visited one of the factories where people produce the vape liquids. And you know, actually, because I visited that factory over here in Bulgaria, that also made me stop, because there was only cans of chemical liquids. That's what it is. And then I thought, whoa, it's better to smoke, you know, pure tobacco, real cigarettes. Just being honest about this. Like always, my vlogs are raw, real and unedited. Anyway, just any bad habits that you think that's not gonna get me closer, faster to the goals in my life, or make me feel quote unquote happy, if you're one of those people that are still in the process of becoming happy, or you know, and then after that maybe you reach at one point, I want to be more disciplined, and that brings fulfillment. That's a little bit a better level, but you have to start somewhere. What I'm always saying, just start somewhere. But you know, just say up loud from a third person. If you see yourself walking, let's assume you're a guy and you see yourself walking across the street, have a little bit money in your pocket, and you're so happy, you buy this new device, you suck on it, and then you walk away, you throw it in the trash bin, and it's over. And you have to repeat this process over and over until the day you die. And this is how I think, you know, if you are so dedicated to actually consume that kind of stuff, try to switch your mindset from consumer to, you know, creator, and then distribute your creation. That can be anything: art, knowledge, increase your value, that kind of stuff. Try to switch, try to think like this, because I also think like this. And a lot of people had they accept everything as is because nobody says this kind of stuff. And no, I'm not some kind of, you know, I don't want to be labeled as some kind of motivational speaker. I want to be the voice that speaks to the normal people who never maybe have the chance to speak, or even that they don't have the chance to speak with people from a different, that see life from a different perspective. Let's say it like this. And then maybe when they hear something on repeat from my side, that they start changing a little bit. And you know, because like I said, also one vlog, you know, I thought I was sitting in a subway. That was, you know, and it made me feel sad. It made me honestly feel sad, you know, like I was in the zoo. And not that I compare people with animals, but you know, you can see the life draining out of people. People are not made for that, to sit in the subway. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just watch the vlog 2 vlogs back. I talk about people that I encountered in the subway. But anyway, observe yourself, be judgmental to yourself, not to other people, and just crush your habits one by one, your bad habits away, and just invest that same amount of energy, maybe triple that amount of energy, because if you invest a lot of time in smoking, you know, you would have more energy for the good habits that maybe even has the possibility to turn into building a business, better life, a feeling of fulfillment instead of happiness. Anyway, ciao for now.